Hey everybody, and welcome to my newest video, like a new series that I'm gonna have on the channel, which is my 642 things to draw. Now if you followed me for some years, I had this series up on my YouTube once upon a time, but I don't think I had like a cohesive thought to how I was going to do it. I didn't know if I wanted to do finished project. I didn't know if I wanted to do a finished project or if I just wanted to keep it in my sketchbook. This time around, I think I've gotten better with my art. And so I want to attempt to have a finished project for each drawing prompt. Now this book I don't even know where I got this book from. It's been so long, but it's a lot of prompts, but I did start this. So you'll see in my book, in the actual 642 things to draw book, you'll see me having sketched already things in the book. And so because I'm doing this over again, I'm going to use my third sketchbook to do my thumbnails, to do my sketches before I actually do the finished project. So the finished project, I want it to be in traditional art. I do understand that there are going to be some that I want to do on live stream, so they'll be digital, because I do not have a traditional art set up for my live streams. So I have made like a 1.5 page spread in my sketchbook of thumbnails for the first drawing prompt, which is a rolling pin. I think I did different variations, like I thought it was rolling pins, a rolling pin, all of the above, but it's just a rolling pin. And I thought at first that I could do like a thumbtack pen, or I can do like a scene of a rolling pin or a pin in itself falling off the table. Then I was thinking, maybe the pins that are in bowling being knocked down by a bowling ball, or like how you would on a map, you would pin certain locations on the map. I thought about doing all of those ideas, but as you'll see in the final project or finished project, I didn't do any of those. I kind of just stayed basic, simply because also I was scared of the canvas, because I have a lot of cardboard. I have a lot of like random blank white canvases in my art area, and I was afraid of the canvas. I knew some techniques to kind of prep the canvas. I didn't know if I wanted to use it, paint on my easel. I didn't know if I wanted to do acrylic paint or POSCA markers. I didn't know what the heck I wanted to do. I think the main medium I really wanted to use was watercolor, but I could not quantify in my head how to do it, especially if I was going to do traditional art, because my third sketchbook that I'm currently in, is not watercolor paper, nor is it mixed media. It is perfect for color pencils, crayons, pens, and regular pencils. It is not thick enough to handle water-based mediums. It does really well with my POSCA markers as well, but I can't do multiple layers. So I knew I just had to kind of take the bull by the horns, and so I pulled out my coloring pencil to do a brief sketch on the canvas and just go that way and hope for the best. And I guess the reason I'm kind of explaining my process to y'all, because I love this next portion of the video. I have some ASMR in this video. I didn't think I captured good ASMR, but I did. I'm actually very surprised. I actually love the way everything sounds, especially the color pencil on the canvas, and then the POSCA markers on the canvas. Like, oh my gosh, I love the sound. It was just my ear loved it. So I thought I would add that as a little treat inside of the video, and I hope y'all like it. I hope it's not too jarring or too overwhelming for your senses. But yeah, I was just really surprised by how well everything went when it came to this. I won't say this is my best traditional art piece But I would say to do it on the fly, I did like that I incorporated some methods that I've already used in digital art, and I really like. I think the first, I don't know. I think I'm getting ahead of myself, but I don't know. Like I was again fearful that I was not going to be able to pull this off. I was fearful that I was not ready to do traditional art. I know that I had kind of been pushing myself and announcing it to everybody who would listen that I wanted to get back in my 642 things to draw. I had did kind of like the intro B-roll a while ago. I think back in May. We're currently in August. So yeah. And then like the filming of the parts of this video I did back in, I want to say June, if not, no, I did it back in July, and it's now almost mid-August. It's just taking me a minute because I was like, I don't know how to transition the stuff. Like, I don't know what kind of look I'm going for. I don't know what kind of sound I want to go for. I don't even know if I'm doing it right because I had the inclination to kind of go back and redo the drawing prompt because I didn't like how it was, and do it in my sketchbook and do like a ink version of it and have that finished project there. But because I did it on the canvas, I was able to put it on my art wall. So I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all get into this ASMR. I hope I did it right. I just know that it sounded good to my ears. And yeah, so it's not long ASMR, it's just the right amount. So I hope y'all enjoy it. And now we're at one of my favorite parts, or the favorite part, or I guess to say the meat of the piece. So I've now sketched what I actually want to do, and I had my sketchbook propped up so that I could actually see which of these sketch prompts that I would use. I had a few ideas, I had a few stories that I could possibly, use with this prompt, but I also didn't want to be, I didn't want to overwhelm myself, so I just went with simple, especially since it kind of intimidated me to even do it. And I knew that if I used like a brown color pencil for my sketch to work as my line art to give me clarity, because I do my line art in like a reddish brown, because it matches well with my colors or any color I use instead of just traditionally black. But I decided to go with a background. I am using, I think it's the light blue POSCA marker, and I think mine are 5mm, so that's how thick the nib is. And I just thought I'll go with the background first, that way it would give me some kind of idea of what room I'm working with. Mind you, I don't think I've ever painted on a canvas except for like in elementary school, so this was not challenging, but I think I was freaking out the whole entire time, like doing it scared. But I think my major issue, because I don't have a huge collection of POSCA markers. I have, I think, the traditional, what is this, 16? I know it's not 8, or it could be 8. And then I have a few of the smaller brushes that I think I got at St. Louis Art Supply. And I had one more, or maybe 2 more, but I didn't know what I was working with. And the nibs fell into the marker, and I didn't know how to get them out, so I just threw the whole marker away. I have now learned that is not what you should do, that there is a way to get it out. There is a way to fix it. I just thought they were defective and that I had got defective markers, but yeah, I now know that's not what you do when you are faced with possible defective POSCA markers. So that, and I know that brown, the one I threw away, I know that would have gone perfectly with the dough, if not the wood of the rolling pin. So I decided that I wanted to use complementary yet contrasting colors. I wanted them to really work well. I even tried to implement shading. I was kind of stuck on whether to use my purple for the handles instead of the dark green, but like I said, I was winging this whole entire thing. I did think that the brown was too dark for the rolling pin, because that wasn't the brown I really wanted. And I definitely could have pulled out my acrylic my acrylic paint. But I am rusty in acrylic paint as well as watercolor, so I did not want that to be my first brush with that. And then plus, I'm not exactly sure how I want to go about using the acrylic paint. I have one brush with my acrylic paint, and it was on sale, and I was like, I'll just use that for all of it. But I'm just supremely rusty, and I hated that for the dough. The only color I did have was one of my smaller POSCA markers, so it could not cover the entire dough. And after a while, I just gave up, because it was extremely hard to color on this canvas with this small nibbed POSCA marker. So what I should have done was put dump a bunch of the paint on the canvas and then use my fingers to smear it, because I also wanted to kind of put the bubbles in the dough, so to speak, like to give some type of I don't know if that's texture or detail. But yeah, I mean, looking at it on the screen, it looks like I've covered the dough, but I know for a fact that I did not cover the entire dough. I just kind of did spots and then just tried to smear it across with the POSCA marker if I could. But I think I ended up using, I don't know what color I ended up using for like the details of the dough. But yeah, I do think that the purple shadow on the rolling pin came out really good. I was surprised by how well it blended in, and I wish in a sense that I would have done that for the handles, because you'll see that it does look kind of wonky to have that dark green as the shadow part of the rolling pin handle, and then have a purple shadow on the brown of the body of the rolling pin. So, but all in all, it was a solid effort. I do love the dark blue shadow. I think that worked the best. I wonder if I would have used the purple, how that would have looked instead of the dark blue. But like I said, I had wung this whole, is that right? I know wing, but is it wung when you use it in the plural? I winged, okay, maybe winged. I don't know what kind of words I'm coming up with. I winged this whole entire thing. So I was just legit going off of what I felt was right at the time. But I definitely love the way this came out. And then I noticed that the shadow on the rolling pin handles were different. And I should have, but again, this is like, what is it? Beginner's error. Because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Yeah, I don't know what color I end up using for the details of the dough. Looking at the screen, I couldn't tell you. But I thought it was cute. I think it was how it needed to be because that was my intention. Especially off of the sketch. Again, like I said, a solid effort. I would not begrudge this of me. You know, I don't want to overly critique myself. And then it's like I'm also noticing based off just watching other artists, I have noticed that it is easier to do the line art after the fact. Now, if only I can replicate this in my digital art, that would be amazing. But for some reason in my digital art, I love doing the line art first and then doing the coloring because it's kind of like a coloring page or like, you know, coloring inside the lines. But when I'm doing traditional art, it's just somehow easier to do the line art last. I don't know, it just seems to work. And yeah, so if you've made it to this part, thank you so much. And yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I know I need to start working on drawing prompt 2 at the time of this voiceover, which is August 10th. I don't know if I want to release a drawing prompt a month or if I want to release it a week, but I do want to actually start rolling these out because like I said, I have 642 of them to get through. And I don't want to stop midway or when I feel like I'm at the end. I want to kind of, I don't know, I want to ride it out because it is a exercise. It's a great exercise. It's a great opportunity for me to keep trying new things. So yeah, and I know this will help improve my art when it comes to not only digital art but just traditional, just all my art in general. And so I want to keep this going. But yeah, so this is on my wall now and I can't wait to start the second prompt. I don't even know what I'll do for that one, but yeah, again, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me, for watching this video up to this point. And yeah, so I hope y'all have a safe, blessed, and wonderful rest of your day. And I will talk to y'all in another video. Bye.